It's time to start.
Hey, what's up, Seekers? Wanugee with GoldenDragonFortunes, your K-Rap psychic. And today we're going to be doing a reading for a group that's on the rise. It's become quite popular. It's an 8-member group, boy group, and it's Ateez. Ateez, Ateez. Ateez, Ateez. So, Ateez, you destinies with Ateez, you ready? Come on, welcome in. So, Ateez, here we go.
I'm your K-Rap psychic. Try me twice, you'll like it. My name is Wanugee. OGs call me Wanugee. I'm a wise fortune teller and a really mellow fella. Ask me about your favorite idol. See their future, see what's vital.
Okay, welcome Ateez. Come on in, all you Ateez fans. So, about a year and a half ago, with my beautiful colleagues, Jasmine and Mei, we did a reading for the leader of Ateez. That's Kim Hangjung. And here it is. So let's turn them over and let's see what the tiles say. So it says that there's doors opening up for him. There's going to be an opening door. The one of wand of the enter tile shows up. It suggests that the doors are opening over the next 6 to 8 months. That's a good thing to be in the center since he's young and he's just getting going with his Ateez. It says that there's going to be some hopes and wishes that he's really focusing on here in the next 4 to 6 weeks. Probably this new song and the new release, and maybe try to get some, weekly wins or get on some more shows and maybe get some success in record sales. So it says that he's really hopeful. But in the back of mind, he's thinking he's got to work harder. He's got to keep working with his team members because the insect shows up. It says there's going to be a lot of busy energy, but it's cooperative and collaborative and trying to be like a beehive or anthill. So it hasn't all happened yet, but he's thinking we got to keep performing and keep working hard. That's the Korean work ethic,
That's true.
Pretty strong.
Yeah.
And then about 2 months from now, it says that there's going to be an opportunity for him to maybe do something a little more creative, more expressive. I think he's pretty talented. He's written a lot of the songs.
Yeah, 40-something songs.
Yeah, so he's a rapper. He's
yeah.
obviously he's got a lot of talent, not just dance and sing, but rap. But he didn't make the music. And he's going to be doing something creative that is maybe more expressive, and somehow it's going to allow him to have some emotional healing, let go of some past disappointments, and maybe feel like he's maybe accomplished something or going to something that's kind of true to his heart. And it says that after doing a lot of thinking and pondering this, then there's something's going to be published. He's going to maybe publish some new music, or there's going to be some written communications going to be emphasized about 3 months from now or so. Let's go. And in about 4 months from now, there's going to be a little bit of problem because the door seems to be a little bit closed. Maybe he thought maybe something's going to happen by that time, maybe April or May of this year, but it's not quite happening what he thought because some kind of surprise comes up. Didn't say what kind of surprise, but surprise comes up that maybe puts a monkey wrench into his plan, and it kind of requires a decision or choice. Nonetheless, around that time to get past these obstacles. And once that decision or choice is made, it seems like it's going to be favorable for him, and it seems like it was just a little bit of a timing problem, and he's going to have an opportunity to let go of some of that disappointment and start something new in about 5 months from now, so maybe May or June, something like that. He's going to do something new, and it's going to be maybe something that he feels is good for him, because the East Tile shows up and suggests that maybe it's something that he feels he really wants to do, and it kind of honors what he's trying to do. So it seems like it's going to turn out well, even though he had a little bit of a bump in the road. And then it says that's when maybe something's going to be published or written or communicated in written format. About 6 months, maybe 8 months.
New album, I don't know.
New album, new song, new something. And that's going to, again, let him let go of this disappointment from the past and feel like he's kind of got his creative mojo back, and he's kind of, in a kind of more relaxed state and kind of creating new possibilities for his music, for what he loves. So it's a little bit up and down, but it seems like it's going to work out in the way he wants.
Yeah.
Like I said, we did Kim Hangjung about a year and a half ago, so you can watch, here if you haven't already. You can click on here and see what that was, see the full reading. So, Ateez, any of that come true? If you guys are real fans, maybe you know what came true and what didn't. If you want to make some comments below, please do. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to do kind of a quick reading using tarot cards for Ateez. We're going to kind of just look for the group. I don't normally do the group, but I just thought I'd just do the group because there's so many members. And we're also going to do a little bit of about 3 members. So we did Kim Hung-jung about a year and a half ago, and I picked 3 other members, so that's going to be half the group. And then maybe we'll do another time, we'll do the other 4 members if you want. But we'll do the group in general, and then the 3 individuals. I'm going to use my Dragon tarot cards. So, this is GoldenDragonFortunes, that's my business. So I have a deck of dragon cards. They're not my deck, but it's a dragon deck, and here they are. It's a standard 78 card deck. Anyway, it's a standard tarot deck, but it's got a theme of dragons. And since my business is GoldenDragonFortunes, and since Ateez has got this kind of powerful, kind of dark kind of energy to some of their dances and some of their MVs, I thought I'd use the dragon deck to kind of get a sense of what's going to happen in the future for Ateez in general, and maybe what's going on with 3 of the members. All right, so you ready? 8 of these. So this first lineup here, I already pulled the card, I already concentrated on them, and and then kind of pulled cards. This first row here is going to be for the group over the next year. And so let's see what the cards say, okay? So the first 2 cards here, this one here is called the High Priestess. So the High Priestess symbolizes intuition. It's kind of an internal card. It represents intuition, using your intuition. So I think what this is saying here is that maybe the next 2 or 3 months, I think they're going to, particularly Kim Hung-jung is, he's a talented writer and does a lot of the songs for the group. He's going to be him and the group are going to be kind of relying on their intuition to kind of guide them moving forward here. I think they just came out with their comeback a couple months ago, Inception. But maybe moving forward, they're trying to use their guide, their intuitive guide, to move them forward on how to construct the next theme of music. I think the albums are, I think they have, 3 or 4 albums. I think they came out with 1 to 0, and then 0 to 1, and then 1 to all, and then all to action. And then this one, it seems to say, this is kind of a spiritual, intuitive card, and at the same time, the card that comes with it is this one here. It's called the 7 of Wands, and the Wands is kind of a spiritual suit as well. And this represents, well, the 7 of Wands in this deck, because every deck has their own interpretations a little bit. The 7 of Wands here represents cutting down, problems, distractions. Don't let them build up, and kind of clear out the clutter to able to kind of open that spiritual flow. So I don't know. Maybe after there are 4 albums, maybe they're going to go maybe all to action. Maybe they're going to go action to knowing, or action to intuition, or action to enlightenment. Maybe, who knows? Maybe that's going to be the next path. We'll see. But it seems like there's something that's more intuitive that's going to be the presence of the next 3 months. And then as you go past that, and these are kind of a little bit more problematic, the Magician shows up. So the Magician is a major arcana card, and so is the High Priestess. In fact, most of them have major arcana cards for Ateez. It's interesting. But the Magician represents, the capabilities to make things happen, and the interpretation this deck uses is that maybe there's going to be this balance between trying to expand the scope of their influence and their popularity. Kind of represents this kind of magical capability to kind of have some strength and, almost like a superpower, kind of to make things grow. So the struggle here, because it's kind of reversed, the struggle here is the Magician is about how to, expand and make themselves available to a wider audience, but also resisting just the need to be compulsive and doing something, kind of maybe without a lot of thought, without a lot of intuition. And so that might be a challenge for them, particularly about 3 to 6 months from now. And the card that goes with it is called the Temperance. So the Temperance is also a major arcana card. There's 22 major arcana cards, so they kind of have a little more significance. And this is called the Temperance card. And Temperance in this deck typically it means balance. trying to find balance, even balance between one or the other. And probably has to do with a little bit of communications, because this is the Archer, this is the Sagittarius card in this deck. So it's maybe trying to point in the right direction and, you know, kind of shoot that arrow. And in this deck, this dragon deck, this Temperance card has a little bit different interpretation. And it seemed like there's a little bit of a struggle here, like the Magician, about, you know, being more popular but not being too impulsive in the, you know, a formula, kind of relying on the intuition that we talked about. It kind of represents a balance between maturing, kind of moving to the next level, or being stuck in the past. So it's almost like, you know, do we use the same formula that we've done in the past, you know, in our songs, in our MVs, in our concept, or do we mature in a new way? You know, and maybe this is part of the process that they're going through as a group, maybe as a musicians or as talent, and with their agency, about, okay, we've had this progression, how do we move to the next phase? How do we make it work? How do we make it not just, you know, kind of impulsive formula, what worked in the past, but how do we move it forward as artists? So that's what it seems to be saying with these cards. And then if we go out a little bit farther, maybe 6 to 9 months, so this is probably in the spring, we get these next two cards. And so on the right here is called the Moon. So the Moon, you know, this is a Pisces card. You know, Pisces represents kind of more reflective moon energy. So the Moon is about reflection. It's about, you know, having done the work and kind of reflecting on, you know, what is it that you've accomplished, and, you know, kind of taking a little bit of rest and kind to, so maybe they already kind of maybe started to make something happen, come out with something, because, and it kind of combines with this card here. This card is another major arcana card, like the Moon. Most of these are major arcana cards, and this one's called Judgment. So this is kind of, it seems like, okay, they've completed maybe the next album or the next phase of their musical growth, and the concept with the Moon, and they're kind of reflecting and seeing what happens, and the judgment is coming. What is the audience going to do? How are they going to accept it? What are their fans going to say? So it seems like there's going to be some judgment that may be happening, and this is about the springtime, it seems, roughly. And as you go a little bit past that, it seems like there's going to be these last two cards, and the Sun shows up. The Sun shows up. You know, this is a good major arcana card. It seems like there's going to be a spotlight, some strength. You know, there's going to be some brightness. So that seems positive. Like maybe they make the right choice, the right intuitive decision, the right concept to move forward in the next phase musically and as a group. So the Sun is a good strong card, represents this kind of energy, and with it is the Chariot. It's you know, traditional tarot decks, it represents kind of movement, you know, moving forward, and trying to make things happen. It's movement. This deck has a little bit of different interpretation of it. What the Dragon deck says is, in the Dragon deck, the way they interpret it is about caring, supporting, this kind of energy to engage, moving forward, so not to get distracted. So I think maybe they have a little more success, and that maybe this is telling them, okay, don't get too full of yourself, and keep your eye on the prize and moving forward and your goals long term, and get too caught up in it. I mean, they're pretty humble, but this is a kind of a suggestion that, okay, you had some success, some growing success, and maybe you took the right intuitive path, but the Chariot says keep moving. You know, don't get distracted, keep moving. So that's what it says for Ateez, the group, for roughly the next year, all the way into next summer, and maybe into around this time next year, maybe early fall. I'll pick three people I want to do individually, just a kind of quick outline for them. And the first one is Park Seongwha. He's a 98 liner. He's one of the main, he's the visual and vocalist. Yeah, Park Seongwha. He's born on April 3rd, 1998, so he's a 98 liner. I mean, he's a pretty good dancer too, but I mean, they're all good dancers. And let's see what the cards say about him. Just kind of a quick, the next 6 months to a year. I already picked 4 cards here. I already kind of concentrated on him. And so these cards say, first off is the Wheel of Fortune. So the Wheel of Fortune is maybe about some success, being able to kind of grab that Wheel of Fortune and kind of picking that might be successful, and kind of spinning that wheel to see how it lands and how it comes around. That's what this Wheel of Fortune card represents. So it's generally a good card. It's a major arcana card too. And so it seems to say that there may be opportunities for him and possibilities, and maybe there are more than one. Maybe it's not just Ateez. Maybe there's going to be some other things that go on, maybe available for him, roughly over the next, 6 months or something like that. And this is the Knight of Swords. So the Knight of Swords is, Swords is a mental card, kind of a thinking suit in the tarot. So it's kind of saying that it's about power and the balance of power. And it's a little bit reversed here, the way I pulled it. So if it was in full positive mode, I would say the balance of power is on his side, and he can make things happen. But it seems like it's still a little bit tenuous, and he hasn't fully understood his full power and the balance of his power. But maybe this Wheel of Fortune is going to give him some options and choices or opportunities, maybe to kind of strengthen that, strengthen his resolve and his own self-image and his own success. So he just has to be careful how he moves forward and takes advantage of that. And it says as you go out a little bit farther, these next 2 cards come up, and this one here on the right is called the Tower. So the Tower in traditional tarot represents kind of a purging, that you're kind of, purging from the tower. You're throwing things out, or you're letting go of things that don't work. So it seems to say that maybe he's realizing that maybe there's a new, different nuance to him, and maybe some of the old things he was doing or how he saw himself maybe evolving and changing, starting to change, and that might be a good thing for him. If he keeps holding on to the old, then he can't move forward to the new. So there seems to be some change coming up, maybe about 6 to 9 months from now, that may evolve for him. And it goes with hand in hand with the 10 of coins. This 10 of coins, and this 10 of coins is more of a physical suit. Coins is more of the material, money, what it buys, material things. And so the 10 of coins represents joint finance, or maybe the group finance and what they're able to achieve with some of their success. This is probably in the second half of, or in the second quarter or third quarter of next year. So maybe he's realizing a certain success, and maybe he's able to, with this tower, maybe to take care of maybe some old debts or old obligations that he had financially to get to the success he's achieved. And this is saying that maybe through that joint success that Ateez brings, that he might be able to make some better investment decisions. He might be considering investment decisions about, okay, what do I do to secure my future financially because of some of the success. So that's a good thing. That's probably a good problem to have. So Seongwha looks like that's what it says, roughly over the next year. So then the next person I picked is a 99 liner, and it is Mingi, Song Mingi. He's born, I think, August 9th, 1999, so he's a 99 liner, and he's the dancer and rapper. And I don't know, I guess there's some rumors running around for him as well. So some of you Ateez people on my channel wanted to ask about Mingi, so here we are. It's for you. So let's see what the cards say about that. And the first 2 cards here in the center, which represent maybe the next 6 months moving out. First one is, this is the King of Wands. The King of Wands represents another spiritual kind of suit, and the king is the top of the suit. And so the King of Wands represents, in this deck, the King of Wands represents leadership. Some strength to stand up and be a man and show have some leadership and show his capabilities. So that's a good thing. Maybe he's going to show more of his strength, but also maybe question for his leadership in certain ways. So that's what it says. And the other one is the Hermit. So the Hermit, another major arcana card. The Hermit says that somehow maybe he wants to withdraw as well. So maybe there's some leadership that he needs to show, but then he has to withdraw, go back into his shell like the Hermit. So maybe he wants to, I don't know, maybe that for some reason he doesn't want to have as much attention on him, and he doesn't want to have all that spotlight on him. Maybe there's some things that he's trying to lead through in his own life, personal life, and he just doesn't want to have too much interference from, the public. So he's maybe pulling back a little bit, for some reason. It doesn't say exactly why, but that's what it says. And it says as you go out a little bit farther, maybe in the springtime into the fall of next year, 2021, these next two cards show up. So this one here, so the King of Coins says that also maybe in this, about 6 to 12 months from now, this is a positive tile. The coins represent some material things. So he's going to have success. He's going to have some, be top of the heap here as far as, I don't know about his group, about him within the group, but as a group, he's going to feel like, yeah, there's some success. There's some things that are happening, that may affect his material capabilities. And so it seems like that is going to be built on success. So there may be some positive things that really happen, by next spring or summer that makes him feel that way, maybe a year from now. And the Star shows up. And the Star, this, again, another major arcana card, represents inspiration and hope. So he seems like he's revitalized, and maybe he's finally feels like he's reached some goals after all these years of training and hard work. So maybe he's finally reached some goals, and his ability to feel like he's accomplished some significant goals seems to be emphasized. So he may have a good year, but the first part of this is it's almost like he feels that way, but then he's not sure and he draws back, and maybe he's getting a little too much attention and maybe being distracted by certain things. But he'll work through it, and success will come, and maybe some material benefits are going to come as well. That's song Mingi. And so the third one I wanted to do on Ateez is WooYoung. WooYoung, he's a 99 lander. I think he's November 26th or something like that. So he's a Sagittarius. And I think he's a main dancer, perhaps. They're all dance well, but I think he's one of the better ones. And he's a main dancer, he's a vocalist, and I think he may have started off with Big Hit and kind of left Big Hit and then moved over to Ateez. So it's interesting. But it's great that he's still having success. Maybe, obviously Ateez is doing pretty well. It's kind of on the rise. So let's see what the cards say about him. Seems to say that there's going to be a decision or choice that maybe over the next 6 months is going to be important to him. This is the Two of Swords. So it's like cut this way or cut that way. Cut A, take B, cut B, take A. Some decision or choice may be looming over the next 6 months, or he has to kind of work through. Doesn't say what it is, but that's the energy around him. So there's maybe a key decision or choice that he's going to be making. But there's at the same time, this card shows up. And this card is called the Hangman, or in this deck, it's the Hanged Dragon. The dragon's kind of upside down, hanging, so it can't really move. So it seems like things are stuck. So there's some decision or choice that maybe he's struggling with, but things seem to be stuck. He can't quite make it. And so it's problematic. It could be problematic in trying to be decisive in a key part of his life moving forward. So that's what the Hanged Dragon represents. So as you go out maybe a little bit farther, maybe the second 6 months or so, maybe spring into next fall, late summer, the Queen of Wands shows up. Queen of Wands is, again, the Wands is a spiritual sort of deck. The Queen represents, it could represent a successful female, or a mature female, or a woman with strength and leadership or possibilities. I don't know if that's a relative or that's somebody outside the organization, but it represents somebody who has this kind of intuitive strength. Female being more of an intuitive energy and strength. So the Queen says that the Queen of Wands represents some woman that has maybe some intuitive leadership influence or success influence in some way, or that kind of energy that might be helpful for him. And maybe that's part of his decision process, what he has to decide that we talked about earlier. But the Queen of Wands represents this kind of influence, this kind of intuitive, kind of female energy, kind of part of how to maybe how to integrate that somehow, or maybe take that information from somebody, or that kind of energy. And the other card is the Fool. So the Fool, this is the first card of the deck, the 0 card, I guess it's called, in the Major Arcana. And the Fool in a traditional tarot deck kind of is a dual thing. It represents maybe going out on your own direction and kind of being, making your own path, and then hoping that people are following you. And if they are, then maybe you have some type of charisma and leadership that people are following you on it. But the risk is that nobody follows you, and so you become the fool. You're on your own way, you're on your own path, and so it's almost kind of like childlike. It's like a childlike energy that, okay, I'm just going to go out there and explore and see what's out there and kind of stumble into things. And if people pay attention and follow me or watch me, great. Or they may not. I might just be stumbling around. So this is the Fool or Fool Child in some of the decks, or the Fool Joker, Joker card. So it depends on the deck. But then in the Dragon deck, it represents a new chapter opening up, a new chapter to move forward. Something new is opening up, and he wants to explore it. Now, the risk is that might disperse his energy, and maybe it may not work. But he's willing to take that risk, and maybe that was part of that decision process, and maybe that influence. So I thought we'd pick another card just for him. So I got another deck that kind of also has a strength to it, and this is my Viking Oracle deck. It's kind of based on the runes, which is a Scandinavian kind of system. And so I want to just spread them out and pick a card, see if it helps any more about this decision or choice for Jong WooYoung. So let's concentrate on him, and I want to kind of feel a shift in energy. Jong WooYoung, we're going to select the card. This is how I do it. Other people kind of shuffle for days and hope that something falls out. This is the way I do it. I kind of focus on the person. And when I feel a shift, kind of pick the card. So, interesting. Okay, now this is not part of the runes. This is part of this Oracle deck, but it's called the Nine of Worlds. So the Nine of Worlds seems to suggest that the decision or choice maybe he has struggled through had to do maybe with some influence about going his own path, going his own way. Maybe this has obviously something to do with Ateez in some way, so maybe there's some personal pressures there. But the Nine of Worlds suggests that, and the Nine of Worlds, there's the 9 worlds of the Viking runes kind of philosophy and folklore, that they're all connected, and that you have to have them kind of all together. So I guess the metaphor here is with Ateez. Maybe he felt like there was something that he was struggling with, but it seemed like he needs to use the support of the team and his members to kind of pull together and perhaps do the right thing and try to decide how to work and make it work for a longer period of time. So maybe that's part of his decision or process, is that maybe he was struggling for some reason about a key choice that may affect his other members, and the solution is that he needs to, they all kind of, it's all for one, one for all. And I don't know, maybe that's the name of their next album, All for One, One for All. I mean, that's kind of a Three Musketeers kind of thing, but if you look at their album series, 1 to 0, 0 to 1, 1 to all to action, maybe it's one for all for one. We'll see. Kind of completes the circle, perhaps. So anyway, that's it for Ateez for now. So if you want to make some comments, please do. They're a great, exciting group. They got some good music. They're great dancers. They're very talented. Some of them were on Mix 9, like Jong, and some were from Big Hit. But they've come together really well and really kind of created a good brand label. They're still not that well known, but you might check them out. Ateez or ask Ateez. I guess that's the fan name for Destiny with Ateez. Anyway, so check them out. And if you want to know about any your compatibility with any of these Ateez members or any idol that you want to know about, then we'll do that if you like and subscribe. You have to like and subscribe, and if you do, and you tell me who you want to see your compatibility with, then you have to give me your birth information, your month, your hour, your day, your month, your year, their city, your country, for the most accuracy, and then we'll do some calculations like we do. But it takes time, so you have to like and subscribe because I just can't do this for everybody. So if you do that, then we'll put in the comments and we'll give you an answer and say, okay, this is your compatibility, like we do on some of our other videos. So that's it for now for Ateez and KQ Entertainment, and all you Ateez, welcome, thank you for coming, and for everybody else that's watching, thank you for coming, and until next time, we're going to wish you all good fortunes.
Hey, what's up, seekers? Looking in the future, figures. You K-pop breakers coming around and see us every weekers. Yo, die-hard K-pop fans, I want to know your sands. Just let us know your bias, then go ahead and try us.